So we just saw Donald Trump, a lot of Donald Trump. Thanks, Luke. But now I want to turn to one of his most prominent and outspoken supporters in the Republican Party, specifically James Comer of Kentucky, who is the chairman of the Oversight Committee. So once upon a time, being chairman of the Oversight Committee, Luke, meant that you would actually provide dispassionate, respectful, professional oversight of the executive branch. It would be nonpartisan. You just want to make sure what the most powerful man in the world and his various agencies are doing, just as mandated by the Constitution. Under the Republicans, it has become a political weapon to just try to hurt President Biden. So instead of addressing, the southern border or inflation or whatever it is that Republicans swore to the people during the 2022 midterms that they would tackle. As soon as James Comer became chairman of the Oversight Committee in January, he announced that his priority was to investigate Hunter Biden yet again and use it as a proxy to investigate President Biden. So that's basically the background to this. And what we have today is a clip, actually probably a few, because these investigations are ongoing and Republicans have failed to produce the goods. They failed to produce the receipts, Luke. They say they're getting more and more evidence which shows President Biden's corruption and influence peddling. What they have are some kind of questionable receipts or transactions pertaining to members of the Biden family. But they have literally nothing on Joe Biden himself. So what's happened is the Republican majority on the House Oversight Committee, they say that there's a document out there, that there's a document which claims that Joe Biden, when he was President Obama's vice president, engaged in influence peddling, and that this is the smoking gun they've been looking for, and they want this document from the FBI. The FBI initially said, no, you're not going to get it, but we'll show it to you. The FBI allowed James Comer and Jamie Raskin, who is the Democratic ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, to see this document. And this clip shows the aftermath. So let's take a look.
About the ongoing investigation, did they say anything about the nature of it?
All I know is there's an ongoing investigation. They confirmed there's an ongoing investigation using this information. I assume that ongoing investigation is in Delaware. I don't know that, but I assume that.
Is it part of an ongoing investigation?
Comer said that it was part of an ongoing investigation, and that's what he learned today.
But then I must have missed that because I've not heard that this is part of any ongoing investigation.
What is the
So I'll also say that this clip is a compilation. It's a back and forth. The first man is James Comer, the Republican chairman, and then the second speaker is a ranking member of the Democrat, Jamie Raskin. And basically, during this press conference, you're finding out two conflicting narratives. So it's important to look at these clips. Did you want to weigh in on any of this before we move on?
Just clarifying, Jamie Raskin is having to fact check James Comer because he also got to see the document.
That's basically Jamie Raskin's job full time, is to fact check. And he's honestly, just sidebar, which I know you know this, Luke, because you've covered him a zillion times. In terms of being a Democratic fact checker of Republicans, Jamie Raskin may have no peer in the Democratic Party. He may be the best.
I love Jamie Raskin. Yeah.
The main reason they're not wanting to make this public is because they're concerned about the source, the highly credible, and I haven't read that in a lot of outlets, the highly credible source that's been with the Bureau since the Obama administration.
Yeah, there's a confidential human source that the FBI works with who has proven to be very credible, who reported a conversation with someone else. That confidential human source said that he had no way of knowing about the underlying veracity of the things that he was being told.
So I want to pause there real quick, Luke. So as far as that segment, Comer is making the claim that the information in this document, which, by the way, is simply an allegation. That's what the document has. There's no proof. It's an allegation. Comer's trying to spin it. Well, the allegation was made by a highly credible source. And Jamie Raskin is having to fact check him again. The highly credible source in the document was simply reporting a conversation that he heard involving another party. It's not the highly credible source making the claim or making the allegation against then Vice President Biden. The highly credible source is saying, hey, listen, I overheard it and I have no idea if it's true, but I'm just reporting it and letting you know. Isn't that kind of an important detail?
Super important. And it is funny, you and I have talked about offline. Republicans now will have to provide so much evidence against Biden if they ever want to credibly make a claim about Biden, because they've accused him of just about everything without providing the evidence so far. And that's what they're spending all their time doing. That's what our tax dollars in part are going towards, is James Comer's witch hunt against Joe Biden. And fill everyone in on the detail about when this allegation was originally made and Bill Barr and all that.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this too, and I'll bring it up here in just a second, but so the timeline here is so hilarious because Comer and the Republicans would have everyone believe that President Biden's FBI, which by the way is led by a Republican Trump-appointed director, Christopher Wray, is sitting on this information because it would be damaging to then Vice President Biden's reputation. When the reality is that the document that Comer is seeking, it actually originated because of Rudy Giuliani, hardly a beacon of credibility and veracity. He shared information with the Justice Department during the Trump administration while Bill Barr was Attorney General. And then Barr, in turn, tapped U.S. Attorney Scott Brady to oversee an FBI investigation into these claims. And then during Bill Barr's tenure, during the Trump administration, Barr and Brady dismissed the investigation concerning this document. So to be very clear, the document that they're talking about, this allegation against then Vice President Biden from a highly credible source, who again was only reporting what he overheard. The highly credible source was not making the allegation himself. That was investigated under Trump by Bill Barr and a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney. And then under Trump by Bill Barr and that same U.S. attorney, they dismissed the investigation. What does that tell you?
Trump was covering it up. No, Bill Barr Bill Barr was covering it up.
No, that's hilarious. I wouldn't listen. With all the stuff that we've seen, would you not be surprised if someone in MAGA world, if someone in the Freedom Caucus doesn't like say something to that effect? Like, actually, you know what? Bill Barr and Scott Brady, they were covering it up for Biden. They were deep state Biden plants that crawled from Hunter Biden's laptop like the girl in the ring. You know, just
it's
like
the same thing. That would have come out. Trump was pressuring Zelensky trying to get dirt on Biden. You don't think that would have been leveraged within Trump's administration? That would have been something that was discussed, was made public back then if it was credible? Of course it would have. And it reminds me of the Hunter Biden laptop thing. The laptop has everything. The laptop from hell. So much evidence on Hunter Biden's laptop. And Giuliani had the laptop at one point. Tucker Carlson was supposed to, but he lost it. Sort of how they lost their whistleblower at one point. And all these different people have said, I got access to Hunter Biden's laptop, and it's bad. But then they never...
Oh, can we see it, Luke? Will you show us the laptop if it's so
right.
bad?
And it reminds me of the whistleblower. It's going to destroy Biden's presidency. All right, we're ready. Show it to us. We lost the whistleblower. It's beyond parody.
I'm looking.
It's
I can't
a
find him.
caricature of kind of this. Where did I misplaced the laptop and a person, a human person. I don't know where it went. It's absurd, and it's as if they're trying to. This isn't the case. This would be a conspiracy theory. But sometimes it's hard to believe they're seriously trying to be politically effective instead of trying to be so cartoonishly dumb that they hurt their own party.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, listen, if it did come out in a decade that all these people like Bill Barr and Rudy Giuliani, obviously we have no evidence that that's the case and plenty of evidence to the contrary. But if like on their deathbeds, they like authored this autobiography where they were like, listen, honestly, we were just, I know we were LARPing as MAGA devoted Trump supporters, but in reality, we just didn't like the guy and we were doing it like, then it would be like, oh, that would be like the ultimate M. Night Shyamalan twist. But you're right. That is a conspiracy theory and there's no basis for it. But man, wouldn't that be funny?
Thank you so much for watching. For the outro on this video, I want to plug Josiah's channel. Hit them with it, Josiah.
Hey, everybody. I appreciate you watching. You can find me at youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. One word, pondering politics. If you like progressive commentary that focuses on coalition building with other elements of the left and calling the Republican Party out for what it's become, I hope you'll view my channel, give me a like and subscribe and some feedback. Again, youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. Thanks again.